Student, this is a program of inheritance where two classes D2 point and D3 point are there. Let me tell you what this program is all about. So it implements the single inheritance. Class name here is D2 point, so we read the details of that first. Data members X and Y, and class D3 point is there, which contains the data member double Z. Alright, so this program is all about defines D2 point defines the coordinates of a point in a plane, while another class D3 point defines the coordinates of a point in a space. So these classes are basically representing the points. D2 point is representing the point in a plane, and D3 point is representing the point in a space. So a point in plane has got two coordinates, so X and Y. So two data members here. Now the D3 point is representing the point in a space which contains three coordinates X, Y and Z. But here you see just one data member is there, that is Z. So where is the X and where is X and where is Y? So let me tell you that is why the concept of inheritance is going to be there, where D3 point will inherit the class D2 point. So that way X and Y will also be there, and they will be inherited in this class D3 point. Alright, so that is the benefit of the inheritance, students, and this is single inheritance here, because here one class inherits from another class. Only one class is involved, or one class has been inherited. Now D2 point is the constructor here of the D2 point class. It's a default constructor which assigns 0 to X and Y, right? Then D2 point is another constructor which has two parameters nx and ny. So nx and ny are going to be assigned to X and Y respectively, because they are going to initialize X and Y. And then after this is the parameterized constructor, and here when you look at, so D3 point is a constructor to assign 0 to Z. So students, here the base class constructor is to be invoked from this constructor, because we have to initialize X and Y also. There too is a part of this class now, because they have been inherited here. Okay, this class has been inherited. After that, D3 point double nx comma double ny comma double nz. I have modified this because this was given wrong in the question, so I have written it myself. So constructor to assign nz to z, that's fine, but nx and ny too will be given to x and y through the constructor of the base class. How this will I tell you this? I will tell you in the coding. All right. After that, you see here distance 2d is a function and distance 3d is a function. Students, the basic task which is to be performed, the most important thing is here, which says we have to calculate the distance between the points in a plane, is given by the formula is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Alright, so this will be done through the distance 2d function here, d2 point b, and there is a parameter, so object passing is also present here. After that, students, we have and the distance between the points in a space is given by the formula. So here you see x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. Alright, so here this is the formula for the point in a space, so that will be implemented here in this function double distance 3d d3 point b. Okay, so this is basically the object passing again to return the distance between the point B and current point in space. So here you see the final answer is to be written, that will be of double type. So we have got here a double distance 3D. Alright, students, double is the return type. Similarly, in D2, this one also D2 point, distance 2D is there. There also the return type is double. Alright. So now we'll move towards the program or the code, but before that I just want you to read this statement. Specify the class D2 point giving the details of the two constructors and function double distance 2D with D2 point B using the concept of inheritance. Specify the class D3 point giving the details of the two constructors and the function double distance 3D D3 point B. You do not need to write the main function. Alright, so it is the ISC 2004 program. So let's start the coding now, students. So here you see the solution. Class D2 point first, which has the two data members x and y. Public D2 point, this is the default constructor, x and y both are given 0.0. Then public D2 point double nx double ny, two parameters separated by comma, x is initialized with nx, y is initialized with ny. Double distance 2d, d2 point b, return, now this formula you see here, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, and its square root is to be calculated. So what we have to write, return mat dot sqrt. At twice we have to calculate the square, so we have written mat dot pow, and again I have written mat dot pow. That will be specified twice, and that will be called inside the sqrt function. Right now, how to get these 2 points? So basically, let me tell you, this object of d2 point, whenever you will make the object of d2 point, that will be nothing but a point in a plane. Why? Because two coordinates are there. So whenever you want to refer to x and y, you will always refer them as b dot x and b dot y, and that is what we have done here. We have written b dot x. Instead of x2, I have written b dot x. Instead of y2, I have written b dot y. That's a very, very important line. Now why I have not written any object's name? Because the function which will call distance 2d, right, that that object, the object that will call distance 2d, I am repeating, the object that will call distance 2d function, that is basically our current object, and that object's x and y are to be written just like x and y without the name of the object. Are you getting it clearly? So that is meant for the current object. Now return is used because final answer is to be returned. So mat.sqrt returns a double value, so double is also there as a return type. So we close this function and then we close the class. Which class? D2 point. So D2 point detail is over, students. Now we come to the inheritance. Now D3 point, which is actually representing the point in a space. So it is going to inherit D2 point class. So D2 point has been inherited here, and double z is basically the data member of this class, and x and y have been inherited through this class, right, which has been inherited here. Now after that, main thing is the constructor. See the default constructor. First we are calling the base class constructor using the super class, super parenthesis semicolon, and z has been given the value 0.0, right? So x and y through this are going to be initialized with 0.0, and z is directly given here 0.0. So all the data members have been initialized through the default constructor d3 point. All right, after that public d3 point, there is a parameterized constructor. So three members will be there, x, y and z. So double nx comma double ny comma double nz. So first we need to invoke the base class constructor. Which constructor? The parameterized constructor. So we have to specify super with two parameters. Never specify the data type while calling this, because it's a function call or it's a constructor call or constructor invocation. So we have passed this nx comma ny here, semicolon, and z equal to nz. What I said? Z equal to nz. Now after that, students, we have here double distance 3d, d3 point b. What I said? Double distance 3d and d3 point b. That is the object which we are passing through this. So return mat.sqrt, mat.pow. Now just see the formula. x2 minus x1 whole square, means before that square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. So wherever the x2, y2 and z2 is written, just write b dot x, b dot y and b dot z. Just see this. And for the current object, you do not need to mention any object name, just write x, y and z. Alright, so here students see, we have to write return mat.sqrt, mat.pow in the parenthesis, and then again a parenthesis b dot x minus x comma 2 mat.pow parenthesis b dot y minus y comma 2 parenthesis will be closed there, and this one will be closed, plus mat.pow parenthesis open the parenthesis b dot z minus z parenthesis close minus comma 2, right. After that this function pow has been closed, and finally sqrt is also closed here. Okay, now finally sqrt is closed and this is done. So final value will be returned, and now distance 3d will be, function is closed here. After this, I hope everybody has a clear idea. Okay. Now, how to implement this? Question doesn't ask you to write the main function, but just to give you a better understanding, I am writing this in this function, public static void main string args, and here you can see 2 points first we have to create. One is d3 point a, the other is d3 point b. So 2 points a and b are there, and we have to get the distance. So what we do here in the parameterized constructor, I pass these three values 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. This 1 point and the other point is this b. So here we pass in the parameterized constructor 4.0, 5.0 and 6.0, right? Now what we do here, we have a variable double d after semicolon. So this will store the distance between 2 points. One is point A, which contains three coordinates x, y and z, and the other point B, that too contains x, y and z, three coordinates. So A dot distance 3D, in the parenthesis B is there, and then system dot out dot println distance is plus D is there, right? So now you can understand which one is the current object. A is the current object here. So for this object, we don't have to specify anything with x, y and z. So that is basically this object which is calling the distance 3D, and this is the object which is coming as the parameter. So its data members or its members are to be referred as it is referred here, b dot x, b dot y and b dot z. Alright, and finally the result is going to be printed, which is stored in the variable d, and then we close the main function, and finally we close the class. So I hope everybody has understood this program well. Thanks everyone.